Quite a mess there, Joan. Thank you for that report from Miami Shores. Back to the breaking news now, and a live look at the Kennedy Space Center, where just moments ago NASA officials scrubbed today's historic space launch. Earlier, there was a lot of uncertainty about whether the mission was really going to happen or not. Even a tornado warning was issued this afternoon. Now, the next scheduled launch is now planned for Saturday.
That's the next hope for a big step in the future of the space program. CBS 4's Skyler Henry is at Kennedy Space Center for today's launch. Skyler, what was the mood like there?
Hey, Lauren, Elliot, good afternoon to you. Well, I think you can call it a bummer now that we had all of this anticipation getting ready for this historic mission. Of course, it has been scrubbed because of the weather, and as you all were mentioning, it was just the uncertainty of the weather throughout the entire day today. It actually even impacted what we were able to do in terms of live shots earlier throughout the day because of that tornado warning, for example. But as you all were mentioning, this mission is historic not only for SpaceX and private company space exploration, but for NASA as well.
Doug Hurley and Bob Behnken arrived at the launch pad in a Tesla, painted to match their spacesuits. The two veteran astronauts had boarded the SpaceX Crew Dragon capsule when bad weather forced a scrub. The next attempt will be Saturday, marking the first time in nearly a decade that NASA astronauts launch from U.S. soil.
This is a unique opportunity to bring all of America together.
Vice President Mike Pence and President Donald Trump traveled to Florida to see the launch. When they do lift off, propelled by the Falcon 9 rocket, Hurley and Behnken will accelerate to 17,000 miles per hour on a rendezvous with the International Space Station. 24 hours after liftoff, they'll be greeted by colleague Chris Cassidy on the ISS.
SpaceX is the first private company to send American astronauts into orbit, and CEO Elon Musk feels the weight of that responsibility.
It weighs very heavily. That's really all I can think about right now. I really have to mentally block it, because otherwise it would be emotionally impossible to deal with.
Musk spoke with the astronauts as they suited up for the flight, which NASA says will open the door to America's return to the moon and beyond.
All of this ultimately is for a purpose, and that is to get to Mars.
Hurley flew the final shuttle mission in 2011 and has spent years training on the new technology.
Most of the controls for the crew inside the cockpit are all touchscreens. We do have a few hardware buttons and switches for very, very critical things, but almost everything is controlled by touch and screen. That's even how you fly it.
For nearly a decade, American astronauts have had to hitch rides on Russian rockets. Now that a private company is handling transportation, NASA says it can focus on the science of space exploration.
And the real focus here is getting American space travelers back to the ISS, back to the moon, and of course trying to get to Mars as well. Now the astronauts are actually still up there right now. It'll take them a while to actually get down off of the spacecraft in and of itself. They'll try again on Saturday, somewhere around 3 o'clock or so, and if that doesn't work, they'll try again on Sunday before they'll officially call an entire scrub. Lauren?